throughout many members and friends of team throughout the world, it may be a different time during the day, but Pacific Standard Time here, it is lunchtime. So we hopefully have brought our lunch, and we will be taking the time today to learn from one of our top-notch experts who I'll introduce here in just a moment. We really do the Brown Bag Lunch and Learn webinars in order to be able to let busy business people like yourselves get expert advice and hear from experts in a format that enables them to listen to it at any time now and in the future. Today, our topic is Elevate Your Authority, the 6 elements to make you and your business stand out in all the noise. And our expert today is Maurice Domino, and I'm going to introduce Maurice here. With all the advertising and marketing out there, it gets very noisy for you to promote your business or service. How do you break through all that noise and get noticed? Maurice Domino is an award-winning international speaker, 2-time #1 best-selling author, and accredited speaker. He helps business owners and entrepreneurs create attraction marketing by using his Elevate Your Authority techniques. Be seen as the expert so you can grow your business. Maurice's clients include Microsoft, the US Navy, IBM, along with many other corporations and organizations. When you and your company are looking to elevate your authority, you want to call on Maurice to deliver his profitable, passionate, and powerful message every time. Keep up with Maurice on Facebook and his website, mauricedomino.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Maurice from Elevate Your Authority here. Maurice?
Good afternoon. I am right here, Kelly. Excited to be with the Brown Bag Lunch and Learn. I'm a big lifelong learner, so it's a pleasure to be here. I want to welcome everyone in the entire Team Referral Network for joining us live as well as in the recording. So, Kelly, great to be here.
Great. Thanks, Maurice. I really appreciate you taking the time. And I'm really fascinated and interested in this particular webinar today because I really think it speaks to our Team Referral Network members and friends of team. You know, we're in a competitive environment, most of us, and we really do want to know how to stand out in a crowd and how to get people to listen to what it is that we offer and serve our community with. So I'm particularly excited about this, and if it's okay with you, I'm going to jump right in.
Let's jump right in. But if I may, what I like to do is, as my way of saying thank you to Kelly and the entire Team Referral Network, I have a free gift for everyone for joining us live, as well as those of you that are listening to the replay, whether through the email or through the YouTube channel. If you notice right there on your screen, I got a little gift for you. It's one of my #1 best-selling books, The 70 Quotes of Highly Effective People. When you are sharing your message, I can't think of a better way to really entice people, to really capture their interest. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, getting people's attention, cutting through the noise, than by saying a really well-placed quote. So when you go to yourmilliondollarmessagenow.com, it'll be appearing on the screen as well as in the chat, as well as on the screen there. When you go to yourmilliondollarmessagenow.com, you're just entering your name, your email, and I'll send you over my free ebook, which is the 70 Quotes of Highly Effective People, and a great way to cut through the noise. And Kelly, when we're talking about this, and that's what I wanted to say, if I may, I come from advertising. I don't know if you know this, but I began my career on Madison Avenue. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, here's an interesting fact. Well, Kelly, let me ask you, do you know how many advertisements you are hit with every day? I don't mean you acknowledge it, that you take it in and you read it, but how many advertisements do you think you're hit with on a daily basis?
Oh, it's got to be hundreds, probably even more, right?
5,000 advertisements per day.
Wow.
Talk about noise.
Yeah.
In the business, we call it the white noise. And if I may, one of the things, if I could share, because, well, we have to agree that Madison Avenue has tricks up their sleeve, right?
Mm-hmm.
For people to engage people, not only that, to do probably, I believe, the hardest thing. It's easy to open up people's minds. It's easy to open up people's hearts, but try to open up people's wallets. How do you go about creating that transaction?
Mm-hmm.
And if I may share this, I think with this grand illusion, well, Madison Avenue does not have this grand illusion. Madison Avenue does not have the grand illusion that when you see our advertisements, whether on television, billboards, and the radio, we have no this grand illusion that you're just going to turn off the road, you're going to jump out of your bed, you're going to go screaming into the night to go buy it. But the question is, how do you go about elevating your authority? How do you go about being seen as that person that they do trust with all that? Why? And here it is. When people are ready to purchase, there's no greater force to stop that individual. But what we want them to do here in the Team Referral Network, with all the various occupations out there, with all the various services that we provide, with all the various products, what we want them to do is, here it is. When they're ready to buy, what do we want them to do? We want them to think of you. And that's what the elements of authority are all about.
I'm going to like
what
this.
Yeah, so that's what it's about. So how do you go about creating, as I call it, the attraction marketing? So it all comes down to the elements of authority. So if you want to get to the next slide, right? With the elements of authority, what we're trying to do here, Kelly, and by all means, jump in if you have a question, if I'm talking too low or above people's heads here, is how do we go about that we do cut through that noise, that when people are ready, here's the point, when people are ready to invest, we want them to think of you. So now the question that has to be asked is, well, when it comes down to purchasing anything, what do people buy first? I'm asking you, Kelly. I mean, and anyone with the chat, even with the chat, right? We got the chat.
Right. What do people buy first?
Yeah, I mean, let's go to the chat. Yeah, everybody. I'm Kelly. I'm gonna put you on mute if that's okay. And let's ask those people attending. We got the chat there. Whatever you have. I'm just curious because this is a lunch and learn. Not only hope you guys are enjoying your lunch, but also I want you to be able to take away something, and I want people to participate. Is it okay that people participate, Kelly?
Yes, absolutely. Some may be driving, some could be, so it might not be something. Yeah.
And I get it. So I just want to make sure that we include people.
I'm trying to answer the question. So what do they buy first? You know, for me, I'm thinking the feeling. Are they buying the feeling first?
Okay, very good. Okay, very good. They're buying the feeling.
I don't think I got it right, did I?
That's okay. No, but you bring up a very good point. So let's put feeling to the side. All right. So because I want really people to understand advertising and marketing. Because Kelly, I have to say again, thank you so much. I was honored to be part of the big event. I was proud of it. And one of the things I said, one of the hardest things for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, business owners to do is to get this marketing straight, to get the marketing out there. Why?
It is.
Yeah, let's turn it around. Let's turn around instead of us going to reaching out, knocking on people's doors. What do we want? We want our network to do. We want the people to come and knock on our doors. So let's remember feelings. But here's a question for you: who's the person creating that feeling?
Oh, I am.
Exactly, you. So you, no matter what, traditionally people always buy the seller first. They buy the individual, and it's all based on feeling. It's all based on that feeling. So what is that image you're projecting to others? What is that marketing piece you're putting out? What is that email that you're doing? What is the webinars that you're doing? Are you doing podcasts? Oh my gosh, there's so many selections out there that, again, and here's the point. It's easy to open up people's minds, open up people's hearts. But again, and I hope you don't mind, Kelly, and everyone out there, I hope you don't mind me speaking candidly today about doing what? Making money.
Right. No, we need to.
I don't think we should. We should not be afraid of saying, "Hey, I want to make money."
Right.
Because money is just a magnifier, right? If you're a bad person, you'll be a badder person. but if you're a good person, guess what? You get to do more for your family, your friends, for organizations, philanthropy. So we have to understand that the prospect, and let's go through this process. The prospect has to create this feeling of, and there it is. Creating the feeling of know, like, and trust. I call it the KLT. They have to know, like, and trust you, right? So your marketing, everything that you do, how you present yourself, how you elevate your authority to your prospects, to your contacts out there, because again, we know the natural progression is we have contacts, then they become prospects, and they become clients.
And this is the process we use in Team Referral Network too, Maurice. In order to be referable, right? In order to be referable, for me to trust you enough to refer you to my best client, to my family member, to my friend, to my, business associate, I have to know, like, and trust you as well. So definitely important.
And when you are doing the referral, you want to make sure that you're presenting that person that, like you just said, that yes, that the person doing the referral know, likes, and trust, and all that. When that contact gets first exposure to the original person, well, eventually they got to create this feeling. Now, that's a great word that you used, Kelly. You've got to create that feeling of know, like, and trust. Oh, can we thank AJ? AJ, how's it going, man? He said knowledge. Yeah, definitely. Knowledge is power. But I'm a big believer, AJ, that knowledge is power, but how you apply that knowledge is supreme. And how we apply that knowledge, how do we go about elevating our authority? How do we go about breaking through that noise? It's about this whole idea. Let me introduce a fantastic word to everybody. Write this down. And if you're driving, go back to this replay and listen to it again, because one of the best words I found in my whole research on this, Kelly, was this word omnipresence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people have a religious tone to it, and sure, yes, God-like, God is everywhere, yes. But when it comes to our marketing, and this is what the big leaguers do, right? Remember, we want to be just like Madison Avenue. And guess what? Everyone listening right now, you can be. But you have to have the mindset of omnipresence. And what that simply means is this, that you are seen everywhere on your topic as the expert.
Right. So that means part of those 5,000 things that affect us every single day. We want to be part of that, right?
Exactly. Not only do we want to be part of it, good point, Kelly. Not only do we want to be part of it, but we want to be seen as that expert. We want to be seen everywhere. So we're doing our market, right? We're touching all the different marketing elements, all the different marketing points. But again, talking about elevating our authority. We want to be seen everywhere as the expert.
Nice.
Now, why? As soon as you're seen as the expert, that's okay. As soon as we're seen by the expert, if we go back to omnipresence for a moment, as soon as we're seen as the expert, what happens? The KLT happens. The know, like, and trust happens. And guess what? They're ready when they're ready. Let's remember that, the feeling. When they're ready to invest, when they're ready to purchase, who do we want them to think of? We want them to think of you.
Yeah, I got it. That's great.
So quite simply, in a nutshell, we have to create that profitable, passionate, powerful you. So that's what I like to say. So let's get into it. Let's get into it now.
And the elements of authority. This is good. I want to hear. Can I advance to this screen, Maurice?
Yeah, definitely. By all means. And if I give a little history on this, how did I come up with these 6 elements? What you're seeing on your screen. How did I come up with it? A few years ago, I went to my clients. I go, hey, what would you like to learn from me in the coming New Year? It was December. Like, what would you like to learn from me? And I was thinking, oh, I wanted to learn this. I want to learn that. But Kelly, do you know what the biggest question was?
What?
Maurice, how did you make it? How did you get that? You get to travel the world. People are knocking on your doors. Your schedule is always full. How did you do it?
Yeah, well, I get a question a lot too.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. My gosh, but the 17 years, right, with team, right?
Yes.
17 years. 17 years. Look at this. 17 years. You must have something, techniques up your sleeve, which I'm sure you could. Maybe we'll turn this around. We'll interview you. One of these days.
No, I'm here to interview you today, Mark.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, yeah. So we'll go ahead. Let's start with number 1. The element begins with author. Author. That's interesting.
Well, let me ask you, Kelly. When you look at a book, immediately, what do you think about the author? Do you think that they know something about that topic? Yes or no? What do you think?
Of course, yeah. I mean, absolutely. It definitely is credibility, most definitely.
That's a good word, credibility. Very good word, credibility. And I always like to say this, you can't spell authority without author.
I like that. You know, it's interesting. I'll just sideline here for just a minute, because Team's working on their second collaborative book.
That's right.
Our first one, Elevate, which was 22 authors in all different business categories sharing their purpose and passion in life on how they elevate others with the work that they do. And the purpose of the book, of course, was to bring together these awesome people, but it really was to give them credibility as an author. They wanted this as part of their business. And so I'll say shamelessly, we're putting together our second collaborative book, and
What's it called?
Impact. And wait, we were changing names, so I hope I got it right. Impact. And it obviously is really about how, again, we'll do 22 or so different businesses, different authors representing, and how their purpose and passion in life has impacted others as well. And so I think this whole credibility thing with it being an author, you don't have to have a best-selling book, right, Maurice?
No. And if I may, here's the whole point. And let's use impact as an example. By chance, you're looking for 22 authors. Are all those slots filled as of
No,
yet?
a good half of them, I haven't had a recent update, but a good half of them are. But we certainly, people can inquire, and we're looking to do one a year. So this will be an ongoing project for us.
Then if I may, then I don't mind being shameless. Then I'm going to say, for those of you that are not taking part in impact, here's a great opportunity. Here's a great opportunity. Why? And here's the whole point, Kelly, about being an author. And here's the whole point about these elements. For those of you that are listening, I don't want you to be an expert in these 6 elements. I want you to be an expert in what? In your product, in your service. You got to be the best you can be at what you provide. Because yes, using these elements, that will open the door. People will knock on your door. But if you don't have the credit, if you don't have the product, the knowledge behind it, like AJ said, the knowledge behind it, then it's not going to work. So now watch this. So yes, I don't want you to be an expert author, but being part of impact, being part of one of those 22 authors, Kelly, guess what everyone gets to do? They get to say, I am the author of impact on their business cards, on their intros, on their websites.
Introductions.
In the introduction, yeah. Anywhere they go now, they could always say, I'm the author of, I'm one of the authors of impact. And there it is.
I'm a published author. They can
I'm
use
a published author. There you go. And
Yep.
by see here, we got to understand that here in society, we have to understand that how society looks at authors. Oh, right away, if you say I'm a published author, right away, what's the other person? What's the perception of the other person? Oh, you must know what you're talking about. Instant.
Yeah, instant credibility.
And there it is. So I'm going to encourage everyone, when the offer goes out again, when it comes about impact or the next time, be part of it. Why? Because you want those words, the published author, the author of. And right away, it gives you instant credibility. It boosts you up. What are you doing? You're going above all that white noise. You're going above all of those 5,000 other advertisements that people are getting hit with.
I like it. I like it. What about speaker, the next one? So the elements of authority.
Well, this one is close to my heart. This is the one that I shared at the big event. And right now there's a revival now. Everyone's going digital. I say this, platform speaking is so old school that is now new school because everyone's going digital. So why not corner the market of getting the platform? And here's the whole point of this. Again, as soon as you take the stage, right away, instant elevation.
Yeah.
Instant elevation of your authority. You must know what to talk about because, look, they brought you in, you've been vetted by this organization, or you produced your own event. And ladies and gentlemen, I have clients that produce their own event where? In their living rooms. Now, here's the whole point. And Kelly, I want you to dissect this. The whole point of this is, sure, everyone out there could do 100 cold calls, but I would rather bring 10, 15 people into my living room, do a 50-minute presentation, and now I have 15 warm calls. So what, Kelly, what do you think? Which one has better traction, do you think? 100 cold calls?
Right.
In warm calls.
Well, you might know me well enough, Maurice, to know that the speaker side of things is actually going to be far more effective. And listen, we provide a platform every week at every single chapter of team for every single member of the organization for them to do a presentation. And part of what we teach, okay, is how to be an effective speaker. And I'm going to share something with you, Maurice, that I talk on, and I'm wondering if you agree with.
Please.
I believe whether you're speaking to an audience of one, which might be a potential client meeting across your desk, or an audience of 1,000, the skill set is basically the same.
I could not agree. I agree. I definitely agree with you. I call it, when you're having, if you're having a client meeting or a prospect meeting at a coffee shop, or whether you're doing a full presentation with 1,000 people, it's the same thing. And if I may translate that quite simply, what I tell my clients in the master class, I tell them, just like you speak to your best friend about what you do, you want to do the same thing. Because as soon as you start speaking, and let's get this out of the way. Everyone says, I'm not a public speaker. Well, Kelly, as soon as they said that, guess what they just did? They just spoke in public. Right. So everyone listening, I hate to break it to you. Okay, let's pull back the curtain. Guess what? Everyone out there is a public speaker.
And if they're going and they're talking at their networking events to somebody, they're a public speaker. They're speaking in public. Exactly. They joke about it being the #1 fear in the United States today. And I think polling wise, it's potentially still the number one fear, and number 2 being death, and number 3 being fire. I always like to say people would rather die in a fire than have to get up and publicly speak.
Oh
Okay?
my gosh, exactly. Exactly. So I'm going to say this. What you said is so true. So my best advice, real quick, here, and we cover this in the master class, but real quick here, a simple technique is pay attention when you're speaking to your friends. That's all. Pay attention when you're speaking for your friends. Why? Because again, going back to that, this is the reason why I asked this question. What's the first thing that they buy? They buy you. So if you're friendly, if you're easygoing, if you're easy to talk to, well, if you're that way, then it must be easy to work with you. So I'll invest in you. And again, I'm going to, Kelly said a very important thing. Here's an opportunity at every meeting that you have, volunteer to speak. Whether it's when you go around, introduce yourself. And I said this at the big event, and please forgive me if I insult anybody. But every time I go to a networking event, right, like Team Referral Network, and they go around, do the 1-minute introduction. Well, before they start, I go, do you guys do a 1-minute introduction? And they go, yes. And yet, when they go around, I hear people so ill-prepared. They're stuttering, they're stammering, they don't want to say. And I go, wait a minute, you were surprised? This is a new thing all of a sudden?
It's not. And I will say, I find most of our people better prepared than the average, maybe,
great.
meeting that you go out there. But it is still a basic tenet that we constantly have to remind members of. And it's something that they must perfect. And I tell people, actually, you need a 10-second, a 30-second, and a 1 minute, okay, depending on what type of networking event that you're at, okay? You could even add a 1 sentence. So 1 sentence, a 10-second, a 30-second, and a 1 minute, depending on what type of networking event you're at, and need to be prepared and be able to speak, again, with credibility when you're doing each one of those items. And people still sometimes want to wing it, and I don't think they should be winging it. Winging it doesn't get you the results you're looking for.
Exactly. Well, you know what? You just proved something to me. The reason that the membership of Team Referral Network do so well with that is because of its leadership, because of what you put out there to make sure. And I love what you're saying here, because look at this, ladies and gentlemen. By Kelly saying 10 seconds, 30 seconds, or 1 minute, guess what you're doing? You're part of the leagues of Madison Avenue, because that's how much time we have. And don't tell me, and this is what people push back on me, well, I only have 30 seconds. What can I possibly do? Advertising, Madison Avenue has those exact same numbers. In fact, it's really Madison Avenue. Listen to this, Kelly. Look how close you are. Look how perfect this is. Madison Avenue is 5 seconds, 30 seconds, and 1 minute.
Wow.
And
wow.
And look what Madison Avenue could do with 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that that's not enough time.
I always think of the Clydesdale commercials by Budweiser. You know, that 30 seconds is probably some of the most impactful 30 seconds I've ever seen. And some of the greatest Madison Avenue advertising I've ever seen is those Clydesdale Budweiser, commercials that are so amazing and invoke such feeling.
There it is. I was just saying, Kelly, what does it do for you? It evokes that feeling. Wow, that warm feeling. But if this makes me feel good, imagine drinking a Budweiser.
Right.
And that's it. And I can't think of a better way to make that warm call than getting a group of people together, whether you produce it yourself. And here's another thing, if I may say. A lot of people say there's not a lot of speaking opportunities. When I first started, I said the same thing. Now, I'm practically traveling. Well, Kelly, you know my schedule. I'm practically traveling every day.
Yep.
Share my message. So don't say that. And again, I'm going to encourage people that are listening live and the replay. Look for those opportunities, whether in your own home or a Hampton Inn,
create your own opportunities.
Create your own opportunities.
Yeah,
and now
partner up with a collaborative partner, so you can be, both presenting your information. How great is it with a financial advisor and a estate planning attorney and a CPA get together and do an informational presentation and invite, various people from their worlds all together to hear them all three speak, So yes, it can be done. You can create your own, you can find them out there. I agree wholeheartedly.
And the last thing before we leave this, I just want to share this, whether you're doing it with a colleague and all that, I want to echo what Kelly said. Don't wing it. Be prepared. Yes. I've created this 26-point template that I share with my master class. Why? Even though you're speaking to friends, acquaintances, referral people that already know you, I say this, there's got to be a little bit of that speaking etiquette. In other words, you do have to present something. You do have to present a quality image so that they do say, hey, this is worthwhile. Let me go further with this and let me invest in that person's product, service, or message. So I just want to leave that with that.
Excellent. And so let's talk about webinars. Ironically, we're on.
I know. Look at this. Isn't this amazing? Now, what I love about webinars, and by all means, because this is a hot topic right now. Even though I said, we're all going digital, people are going up on the platform doing stages. Well, now webinars are exploding. A couple of reasons, and I want people to write this down because, again, for team referral networks, everyone is out there, has a business, is a networker, whatever it may be. Well, we have to create prospects, right? Everyone's talking about build the list, build the list, build the list. Well, I can't think of a better element to use to build a list than with webinars. Why? And here's the point. One of the biggest things you're going to get at webinars is real-time content delivery. Real-time content delivery.
Yep.
Now, what is that? Well, again, real-time. Right now, look what we're doing. Those of you that are listening live, well, if something happened yesterday, Kelly could share it with you. I could share it with you. If something happens in the last 5 minutes, look, you get up-to-the-date information to your prospects. Well, if you're up to date and everyone else is a day, a week, or a month old, well, again, you must know what you're talking about because you could say statistics. Let's say if somebody's in real estate, right? Right now, the average home is selling for in the Pasadena area. Well, that's going to help me as opposed if I look to a magazine or whatever, that's going to help me right then and there. So right away, I can't think of a better way to grow your list, to take those prospects and make them clients. But
I love about the webinar too is the ongoing shelf life that it has too, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Does everybody realize that this webinar, Kelly, I hate to break it to you, this webinar is going to last longer than you and I?
Right, right.
Yeah,
exactly.
whether it's stored on YouTube. But the other real thing that I want to share with people, and here's the biggest takeaway in particular, because we're so focusing on getting new people, prospects, new clients. What about your existing clients? Here's an interesting fact, and I shared this at the big event. Do you know that every 30 days when you do not touch a current client, email them, call them, letter, whatever you want, gift them, every 30 days when you do not touch a current client, you lose 10% interest. You lose 10% interest. You know what happens after 10 months?
Yeah, they're gone.
They're gone.
They're gone.
And here it is. I can't think of an easy way to go to your current client list and say, hey, join me Wednesday, November 20th at 11:30 for just like we're doing here.
Right.
You're maintaining that touch. Now, again, you don't have to be an expert at it. I'm going to stress this. All these, you don't have to be an expert at it. And all that, why not do a webinar once a month?
Yep.
Right, once a month for your current clients, just to keep them up to date. And here. You want? Kelly, let me make it real easy. In fact, I'm going to be sharing this on my webinars 101, my 1 hour on webinars. I say this: why not once a month, or maybe other a month? Just open up the webinars and just do a Q&A. Just do a Q. Hey, clients, you have a question or what's going on? What's new? How to do this? Do a great Q&A. And especially for our network marketers out there. Here's a great opportunity to keep in touch, the latest and greatest, and know that if they have questions or comments or concern, you could address it in the moment.
Damn, Maurice. Oh, excuse me. Darn, Maurice. I cannot believe.
Hey now.
I cannot believe how much I'm doing right here. Okay, so on the webinars, of course, our Brown Bag Lunch and Learn webinars are monthly, and they are, primarily for our existing membership. Although we do send it out and invite friends of team as well. But what's fascinating about this is we do Terry Lee Harrison, who's in Singapore, and she's a franchise owner for Team Referral Network. She does a once a week Ask Terry Lee, and it's just an open forum, and she provides it on the platform of our virtual team. But she does that, Ask Terry Lee. So very interesting.
There you go. Fantastic. So again, you got great leadership, really big fine examples. Now I'm looking forward for the rest of the membership to start using webinars. Fantastic. So, and again, I'm going to say this: you don't have to be an expert at it. I want you to be an expert at what you do. But again, how to go about elevating this authority, your authority? Here's one of those elements: webinars.
Yep, I love it. Okay, so what's the difference between webinars and podcasting? I bet some of our audience has that question burning right now.
Yeah, well, not okay. Now the difference is because
media.
Okay, say that
Podcasting
over
always-
again, Maurice, because you cut out.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and I have thunder and rain going on. I don't know if you do as well, but you just cut out on that. So go ahead and say that again.
So let me say this again. What I'm saying is, please forgive me that. What I'm saying is that a podcast, you got to think of it as a stored media. While you got to look at webinars or live media, podcasting are stored MP3. So it's audio only.
I got you.
Here's the best way of looking at it, and here's a great example. And hopefully, by this example, Kelly, I'm going to convince you and everyone else there to start podcasting, and that is this: radio. Radio, right? It's in your home, it's in your car, right? It's on your cell phone now, it's on your device. So we just got to think that podcasting is 21st century radio.
Okay.
Well, prior to the internet, the only person that could own the airways are networks. You and me could not get on radio, right? Unless we start a station, spend hundreds and millions of dollars to begin a radio station. We could not get on air. What podcasting affords people is to do exactly that, to go on air. Now, it's a little different in the digital world in that, you have iTunes, you have Libsyn, you have all these other places that house it. But again, you got to look at the end user, right? People take in information all different ways. And one of the most easiest way to take your information and transfer it to a prospect, to a client, is with a recording, with an MP3. MP3, all it means is this, just audio. Because right now, what's happening with this webinar, you have audio and you have a visual. Well, if I'm on my car, if I'm jogging, if I'm working on something, I can't really pay attention to this. But we know that people do listen to audio books, right, on the side and all that. So here's a great way to do your own radio station. Now, why do I say that? Well, we know, now watch the connection here. We know that cars right now you could plug in, they have USB ports, they have mini plugs. Why? Because people are plugging in their cell phones into their car. Why? Because they went online on their cell phones, they got their favorite podcast, they got their favorite show, their favorite radio show. They downloaded it onto their device. Now they plug it into the car, and now look, it's available to them. So as they're driving and all that, they don't have to stop. They could pull it out, put their earpieces in, listen to it. Here's the thing. We have to know what's happening in Detroit. Cars are going to be internet ready. So in other words, the radio that you have in your car can pick up the internet. So now guess what you've just become? You've just become a broadcaster everywhere and inexpensively. In other words, people can tune into your podcast right on their car radio. And when that happens, there's going to be this huge explosion. I'm going to make a prediction. All the big people out there like ESPN, Disney, and all that, you're going to see they may have like one or two podcasts. When Detroit puts podcasting on the radio, you're going to see them have 100 channels. You're going to see them have 30 channels because everyone's going to be a specific sport, a specific genre for Disney. And I'm going to see this. Before that explosion happens, I'm going to invite everyone to start podcasting now. Why? Because to get noticed now, you're going to get buried. In about 3 years, you're going to get buried by these big leaguers. So here's another opportunity. Here's another element. And I'll say this, not only do I not want everyone to be an expert on this, but you don't have to do all 6. But here's another inexpensive way, another vehicle for you to deliver your message. If people love podcasting and all that, the best thing about podcasting, here it is, traction. Out of all these elements, the most sticky one for clients is podcasting. If somebody falls in love with podcasting, they will do more to listen to your podcast than to go to a webinar. I'm going to be very candid. So it has the most traction, has the most stickiness for podcasting. Podcasting has the most stickiness.
Gotcha. So we're looking at webinars, podcasting, and then comes YouTube. How does that fit in?
Well, how does that fit in? Well, we know that we know that people always want to learn, and there's search engines out there, right? There's all these search engines, but do you know what the number one places where people look for information?
It is. It's YouTube.
It's
Was
YouTube.
shocked. I was
Yeah.
shocked.
Now, do you know why? Do you know? I'll give you a hint. Do you know the physiological reason for that?
I
Or
don't.
maybe the
I'm not that
psychological?
smart, Maurice.
Oh
You're giving
no,
me
come
too much
on.
credit.
You are. Come on. No, we got it. Here's a great statistic to write down. 60% of the population are visual learners.
Ah,
So no wonder.
that
No
makes sense.
wonder they want
People want the video.
they want to see how to do it. Now the key word there is, you just heard me say it. The number one phrase to be entered into YouTube. Kelly, what do you think is the number one phrase to be entered into YouTube?
How to.
Exactly. So here's the point now. If your product, if your service, if your message has a how-to it, like a demonstration, all that, well, I'm going to say this. In my masterclass, I show you how, let's say you have a product, and I'm going to say this. You could probably come up with 20 different how-to videos. In other words, you got to slice it really thin. Why? You don't want to produce an hour video. You want to produce a 5-minute video on how to do. And I'm going to say this: slice it really thin. You don't have to go into. You don't have to do this broad strokes. This is where you can be very specific. Why? People want to do it, and all that. If you have a bunch of videos, again, what does that do? You must know what you're talking about, right? You must have credibility. Now, the only thing I'm going to say when it comes to webinars, podcasts, and YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Guess what? You sound exactly the way that you sound, and you look exactly the way that you sound. But look at this brown bag lunch here. You're not seeing you. You're not seeing Kelly. You're not seeing me, right? For all you know, I could be what they say, webinars on YouTube, these type of things. I could be sitting here in my underwear. Don't worry, I'm not. I'm fully clothed. I don't want to have people have images now and scare them away.
I was going to say, I'm not sure, Maurice. I usually say pajamas and bunny slippers. So.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I may be in bunny slippers and jammies here.
I don't know. That might be even more disturbing with you in bunny slippers. I'm not sure.
But I want to share with people. Why not? You got to do it. Why? Because it's going to get more and more digital.
Yeah.
And if I may share this with everybody, and I love sharing this quote from Mark Cuban. Everybody know who Mark Cuban is?
Yeah.
Right, the billionaire shark.
Mavericks owner, Shark Tank. Yeah.
Exactly.
Brilliant businessman.
And he says this, right? You either ride the wave of technology or be crushed by it. Now, again, I'm going to say this. I'm not asking you to be an expert in YouTube. I'm not saying you have to be an expert in creating videos. But I know everyone has a cell phone, right? It has video capability. And the one thing that I have to say is this, and this is the one thing I teach in my master class, is you could be sitting in your living room, you can be going for a walk, and you could shoot a video of yourself. Why? Because the whole world is so used to these type of run and gun videos that they could do the shaking and all that. But here's a little tip. People will not put up with bad audio. And there's a simple little trick that I share that, again, I don't want, even if you go for a walk or whatever, if you're in your backyard or if you're demonstrating something, why not, they have these little, cell phone tripods, set up your cell phone, hit click, right? Do your little demo, hit it, and just do with the simple editing, just cut out the front and back so that they don't see you running around, turning your cell phone on and off. And there you have a video.
Nice.
And here's the whole point. How much does it cost anyone to upload a video to YouTube?
Nothing. Zero.
And there you have it.
Yeah. I want to be mindful of our time.
Yes.
We're getting down here. So I want you to hit on the sixth element here and be able to allow you to talk a little bit about your master class, which you've been referencing.
Definitely. Wow. Now I call social media either the 800-pound gorilla, because there's so many things out there. But what we use the social media for is our glue. In other words, I can't think of a better way to promote for free your book, your speaking, where you're speaking at, your upcoming webinars, where people can find, or your latest topic for your podcasting, and definitely where you could upload your video to social media or to give your YouTube link. So social media, while it's an 800-pound gorilla, again, you don't have to be an expert at it, but what exactly can you use it? Now, people say this, my gosh, Maurice, do you live on Facebook? Do you live on social media? I spend about a half an hour a day on social media. But how you work it, how you use it as the glue, how you use it as the attractor, how to use it as your billboard, your broadcasting station, your TV station. That's what you got to think social media is for, right? Of course, I correspond with people, but I use it more as my broadcasting thing. This is my distribution channel. This is how I distribute all of it. So it is the glue that brings it all together.
Great.
But quite simply,
I love that.
What I say is this: no matter what, in all these elements, let's go to the next slide. The money is in the message. The money is in the message. You got to prepare. You can't wing it. So all these elements is to elevate so that the money is in the message. For those of you that are skittish about money, it just means the results. The results are the message. And my question to everyone out there is, how are you delivering this? Now, I know this must work because I want to introduce a client of mine, Michael Bernard here. And he went off. I didn't hear from Kelly for two years. I got an email back from him, and look what he says there. By using these 6 elements, I don't think he used all 6 of them. He doubled his business.
Wow.
I'm going to ask the people out there, how could that what difference could that make in your life if you doubled your business over a period of a year or even 2 years?
Right.
And again, it comes to, and I'm going to say this: it's time, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to elevate your authority. And if I may, if I may have permission, I want to share people. I keep talking about it. I want to share what I like to call my master class. So if I may introduce to everyone, it's a 6-month program. Per month we do the 6 elements. We do per month we do one of the elements. Hence 6 elements. There's 6 elements. 6 months. Once a month, we do one element because I want to make sure people get it down and they cover that thing. And we do it. How do I present it? We present the six elements via webinars. So wherever you are, you could join us. So right now, the master class. If you can go to the next slide. The master class, you get every month, you get an element. It's a private group. I'll do a script revision, guest appearances on my podcast. You get introduced to my over 10,000 contacts that are active. You get all my ebooks. And what I like to do is this. I know that looks like a big investment. You just met me today. But how about if we do this? Those of you that are listening live or the replay, how about if you get a taste? Since we're on a webinar, and it's fortuitous that this evening, November 20th at 6 p.m. Pacific time, I am presenting one of the elements today, Webinars 101. So if we can go to the next slide.
Nice.
Now, the reason I'm doing this is because, again, you just met me, and I just want to make sure that you get a taste of me just to see to vet me. So it's just $47, right? It's a one-time fee. You get access to the whole thing, the template, so you don't wing it, the equipment to use, the structure, how to promote it, everything. You get access to the replay. So those of you that are listening right now to the replay, well, guess what? I'm going to keep this one open for however long it takes, and let's do something special. For the Team Referral Network, what we'd like to do is this: a simple investment of $27. That's it.
For the webinar 101?
For the webinar 101, for this
Wow.
webinar tonight. So for tonight, I'm going to put into the chat box as well for everyone. If they go to the link there, that will be part of the email that Kelly sends out. And Kelly, if you could put it in the description in the YouTube video.
Yeah.
$27. Join us this evening. And if you can't make it tonight, November 20th at 6 p.m. Pacific time, those who are listening to the replay, click on that link, get full access to it. And guess what? Get full access to the replay. Listen to it as many times as you want. Why? Because I want everyone in the Team Referral Network to start using this valuable element known as webinars.
So really quickly, I'm going to read it into the video here just so you
please.
know. So you want to go to bit.ly/webinars 101 FOR27. So bit.ly/webinars 101, the word 427. Just want to read that in there. And they get that for $27. And they get to learn how to produce a webinar, what it takes in terms of structure, the equipment required, how to schedule it, what software, template, and access to replay, how that all looks, correct?
Exactly. They get unlimited access to it. Why? Because again, small investment. You get to try me out. You get to kick the tires.
Nice.
If you don't like it, well, at least you get lifetime access to Webinars 101.
Great. I'm going to move on to that next screen here,
Yes,
the
please.
27. Whoops. And then, okay, that was it. Okay, there. I do want to remind everybody, going back to the free gift as well. Will you remind them again what they need to do for the free gift here, Maurice?
Sure. Yeah. Again, if you want to get the free gift, all you go to is yourmilliondollarmessagenow. Spell it out. yourmilliondollarmessagenow.com.
Great. That's perfect.
Thank you for that.
Maurice, it has been a true pleasure to have you on here with us. For those of you who are joining us on this webinar or listening to it in a different platform, we want to let you know that if you'd like more information about Team Referral Network, you can always go to teamreferralnetwork.com. But Maurice, fantastic to be with you. Thank you so much. I know you're going on a big European trip here, so I wish you bon voyage on that and have a great time.
Oh, definitely. I appreciate that. Been a pleasure here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Kelly and the whole Team Referral Network, what a fantastic organization. Thank you so much.
Right. Thanks, Maurice. Bye, everyone.